This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. crazy time live stream. I'm just waiting to see if Miss Sam Casuga is coming online. A little bit. There we go. Let me just join this in. Done. Let me see if this is going to work. Sammy!
Cool.
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Oh, good. I'm actually busier now than I was before all this sort of happened. Just kind of crazy.
Great.
How have you been?
Pretty well, actually. I'm pretty good at solitude, so I don't really mind it so much.
Did you get laid off?
Along with everyone else, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit trickier for me because of my visa, but yeah, I mean, all of the employees at Dead Rabbit are laid off right now, so.
So before we get into the super heavy stuff, how about you introduce yourself and sort of tell everybody who you are and where you've come from and your awesomeness in general.
Great. Oh, look how many people are here already. Hello, friends. Okay, well, those of you who don't know me, I'm Samantha Casuga. I'm one of the head bartenders at the Dead Rabbit in New York City. If you've never been, it's an Irish-American bar with both a cocktail bar and like a pub tap room type style, so it's really, really fun. I've been in New York for 3 years. I'm originally from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I've been all over the place. I've lived in Victoria, which is obviously where I met you, and then I had like my little stint in Montreal when I was younger, and then I ended up back in Calgary and then coming out here. So
how'd you get your start in the industry?
Well, after dropping out of university, as a lot of us do when we're 20, I I was studying English literature and journalism. Yeah, I wanted to write, but you know, when I went off to university, I kind of like partied too much and had too much fun. So at 20 years old, I told myself I better ship my ass back home and get my life in order. So I went back to Calgary, and actually my best friend Grace at the time was working at this wine bar called Vin Room, and she was going back to university for September, so she got me to take over her little hostess job, and that's just how it happened. I fell in love with it. I got really into wine. And then when I moved to Victoria, I mean, I had no aspirations of being a bartender. I just kind of wanted to be in the wine world, but it kind of just happened, and it happened quickly. And it's, you know, it's been a crazy wild ride since then.
What made you make the move to New York? Because I think a lot of young bartenders, they see you, like a lot of bartenders see you as from Victoria, and then you did a little stint in Calgary again. Mm-hmm. What made you do the big leap? Because I can't even remember what made you do the big leap.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things. When I think, honestly, when I first started bartending in Victoria, like that's when I met you and I met Simon and I met all those cats. But especially with how tiny Victoria was, it was very interesting to see, like, when we did Art of the Cocktail and having more international bartenders coming through, and you had many connections and you were bringing people in. And I think I just saw the broad scape of it, and that really got me because, you know, I've always loved traveling. I've always dreamed of living in New York City, actually, like since I was a kid, and this kind of seemed like a good avenue to take my life. So I did kind of have it in the back of my mind, like, do everything you can to get yourself where you want to be. So from, you know, that first kind of like year in Victoria, it was always kind of a priority. And then I just kind of took opportunities as they came. And when I moved back to Calgary was after Victoria, and I ran Native Tongues, which was great. And I loved it. And I loved being back home, but I just knew that wasn't it for me. And it was just, it's that feeling of being somewhere and then you're that big fish in the small pond, you know, and I just knew that if I ended up staying, like just going to Toronto, nothing against that or anything, but I just knew I'd have the same feeling. So I just wanted to push myself as far as I could go. And then of course, that's when I was really coming to the States a lot, and I was doing a lot of those programs, Bar Institute, Camp Run Amok, going to Tails, just like really putting my name out there. And that's when I met Jesse. And of course, you know, a lot of us know this story. Like I met Jesse Vita, he was at Dead Rabbit, then moved on to Blacktail, but that was kind of the immediate connection. And I definitely took my time. I wasn't like, oh, I need to move to New York now, but that's definitely like the kind of way it went.
So what's now that you're at Dead Rabbit, which is one of the best bars in the world, voted on, and most peers think the same thing. What's driving you to keep pushing yourself in that spot? Because like you've been there for 3 years. I know you're going to stay there for another 3 years. Well, most likely stay there for another 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Have you hit the pinnacle? Have you hit the spot where you're satisfied?
Personally, no. I mean, it's crazy because it's been 3 years. I remember when I first got here, it was very frustrating because you almost have to start over again, you know, and especially in New York, like no matter what you've done, when you get to New York, you got to start over. It's a hustle. So, you know, I started serving again, and then I was very slowly picking up bar shifts, and then it finally got to this place. But within 3 years, yes, it's great that I've now become one of the head bartenders, but you know, it doesn't end there. And I think, you know, with the position that I'm in right now, I'm still learning and I'm still really like grasping it. And of course, this time right now is kind of like a little bit of a setback. But at the same time, I feel the longer I'm here, the more in love I become with the city and especially the industry here. And recently seeing everyone band together, and just I'm seeing a shift already, and it's very motivating and it's inspiring. And you know, I just want to be a part of it. One of the biggest reasons why I didn't leave New York to go back to Calgary and wait this out was because I just wanted to still feel a part of New York and still feel a part and close to the Dead Rabbit and, you know, the team. So I mean, that pushes me every day. It's just New York, it just keeps going, you know, it doesn't wait for you.
What's the general, because I know I've been talking to a ton of people, like I've been trying to do a podcast every single day, and talking to like the BC Restaurant and Food Services Association and Able BC and charity initiations and all these different things. What's the general feel in New York? Because I feel like New York is, like you said, New York is New York, and all the stuff that you've gone through, like Hurricane Sandy and 9/11, all this stuff, like New York always seems to take it in its stride and just plow through. What's the general feeling in the hospitality industry right
now? You know, I think it's a lot of what everyone is feeling. New York, though, I feel, you know, it is a lot of banding together and it's a lot of supporting each other. There's definitely still that hustle, and there's a lot of the frustration of not being able to, you know, get out there and grind the way that we are used to. But, you know, from my own personal standpoint, and especially working at a bar like Dead Rabbit, I'm kind of like really wanting to take this opportunity to just use our platform and use, you know, the outreach of the bar to just be a very solid presence, supporting each other and, you know, like really pushing New York hospitality to really like, you know, make something out of this. I feel that, you know, everyone's trying to raise their money and like keep their bars afloat, but there is that feeling of like, this is New York, you know, we love this city, we love this industry, and we're just going to keep going and nothing can stop us. There are going to be a lot of bumps along the way, and it's not over, you know, like even when we reopen, it's going to be a slow reintegration and it's going to be a lot, but I do feel that there is still that pulse and there's still that drive that New Yorkers have.
Do you think that you're lucky enough, because I've known Shawn for, I've known Shawn for a long time. Do you think that you're lucky enough that you've got two owners who have known pretty much every possible downfall of owning bars and restaurants as possible? Like they literally every single time they get ahead, they get slapped down. And it's literally like everybody like sees the awards and knows Dead Rabbit and sees the books and all this stuff. But I know that Shawn and Jack still get out every single day and grind it out hard and never rest on their laurels.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, I love those two. You know, I have always been a huge fan of the bar when it came to trying to get to New York and, you know, trying to see where I could see myself working. It was always Dead Rabbit. So I love them. I really respect them. It's crazy the adversity like they've faced over the past few years, and of course this is no different, but it's also something no one has ever dealt with. It's wild and it's really surreal, but you know, I think yeah, at the end of the day, like what we're learning and what I've really been feeling is, you know, despite all the awards, despite the accolades, despite the name, we're not immune to these things. No one is. And, you know, it's still hard for us. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're still a mom and pop shop, you know, like of course we have, you know, a lot of great support, but like it's still quite devastating for our whole staff. But, you know, we approach these things just, we're together, we're a team, you know, we're always improving, we're always pushing. And we've, you know, despite us all being laid off, we're still talking every single day, like the whole team, and we're just making sure that we're watching out for each other. So I think we've always kind of had that within Dead Rabbit, you know, like Shawn and Jack have always, and Laura and Jillian have always kind of, you know, implemented this, we're a big team. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I joke around, but I feel like when we reopen, it's going to be like Shawn, Jack, Jillian, Laura, me and Ian. Like,
all on the bar.
you know, like, yeah, like make the comeback because, yeah,
Have the
it's
plans
gonna be starting again.
Have the plans for New Orleans been put on hold as well?
Yeah, it's still happening. But of course, you know, like everything, it's just kind of put on hold right now. But it's definitely still a plan and still a thing we're gonna push towards.
So on a personal level, how are you staying ahead of the game for yourself personally? Like, how do you wake up every morning and go, I'm motherfucking Sam Casuga. I swear it's my live stream. I'm motherfucking Sam Casuga. How do I become better than the day before? Because I think a lot of people, and I don't want to say female bartenders because I never like a group separately,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, but they look up to you in a way, especially Canadians, because you've left the whole Canadian scene and still succeeded, where you could have, like a lot of people could have fallen on their face.
Right.
But how do you stay sharp?
Well, I mean, like I like to think I take care of myself pretty well. I live alone, which it like boggles so many people's minds right now. I'm getting constant messages like, "Are you alive? Are you okay?" But you know, like I'm quite content in my little East Village apartment, like doing my thing. But I'm really just taking the time to have a routine. I wake up, I throw some jams on, I open up my windows, get some fresh air in. You know, I start talking to my loved ones immediately. It's throughout the day. I'm talking to people all day long. I make sure I always have my workout in around like the mid-afternoon. And I started running. God. But yeah, like becoming the stereotypical bartender now. Now I'm running. But I've been really enjoying it. I'm just trying to do things for me, you know, like keep me going. I think that's a big one with a lot of us is we're so used to just being on the go, and especially like I wasn't sleeping more than 6 hours during a work week, you know, like, and I was just so used to it. And then when everything just stops, you sleep again, and you just take time to eat, and you take time to sit and just be. And so I'm just embracing everything and taking it slowly day by day. And you know, I think what's really important too is that it's again like the constant communication with the staff, and I'm checking my emails every day. So even though I'm not really getting them, I'm still checking my emails. I'm still, you know, looking up every platform of funding or relief or anything that can help our staff. Like it's you know, I'm still putting the hours in, but it's more towards just watching out for the industry and for people, and it's becoming something I'm really passionate about right now. So that definitely helps pass the day.
How long are they saying that you're going to be locked down in New York?
Right. Well, so yeah, I mean, President Trump had said until April 30th. And so probably around then. I mean, it's crazy. Everything just kind of keeps getting pushed, and the dates keep getting further away, and we're not really expecting to be open until the summer.
Yeah, we've
So,
been told July 1st.
and I wouldn't be surprised. And it sucks because BCB comes in June, and then it's
Yeah.
tails in July, and it's probably not going to happen. We'll probably figure out other ways to do cool things within the industry, but those kind of things aren't really going to happen, I don't
Yeah,
think.
are they going to have you heard if they're going to get pushed, or are they going to just not happen this year?
I don't know. I'm not quite. I think it's going to depend on which event and to what capacity it is. I know that with Tales of the Cocktail right now, they're trying to do more kind of online stuff and stay relevant and keep the conversations flowing and keep this. But yeah, I don't know. I could maybe see just being postponed until next year, but even with like the awards and stuff, like Asia's 50 Best is coming up, and that's all online, and
Yeah.
it's just it's an interesting time.
I've been talking to a lot of friends in Singapore, and they haven't even gone full lockdown yet. It's crazy. Like
Tuesday.
restaurants
Tuesday
open.
is when they start.
Yeah,
It's wild.
it's kind of mental that it's taken that
Yeah.
long. Because I've been talking to them on a regular basis. Well, obviously Jesse, but like, yeah, all my clients over there are still operating their restaurant. So let's do a hypothetical. Sans all this rubbish, what were the big plans for you this year?
Oh, pre-virus. Very good.
Pre-virus. Let's give a little silver lining to what could
Right.
have been.
Well, funny enough, actually, right, maybe a week before we closed, March is the craziest time at Dead Rabbit. We flip our menu, so we flip our menu twice a year, and this one is the craziest because it's also the same week as St. Patrick's Day. And this year we also had decided to run St. Patrick's Day for 4 days. So it was just gearing up to be just a wild, wild week. And of course, like, that's when I work the most is these menu flips. And it went beautifully. And the menu was so great and so on point, and we were so proud of it. And I think we maybe ran it for 2 days. Yeah. So yeah, and so we've missed out St. Patrick's Day as well. But this year, to me, like everyone, 2020 was looking like the one. But I feel, I was planning really to just keep going with the head bartender thing with Ian. And really, we had so many plans that we were, brainstorming and really wanting to start to implement. And, we were feeling pretty good. So, yeah, but also with New Orleans like opening, that was definitely presenting like a change in the dynamic of the team, so that was getting really exciting as well. And I just did bar 5 in January and passed that, so that was like a nice little like educational moment. And I really started to realize how much I love the education side, and like I love training, and I love being, more of a leader and more of a mentor. And that's kind of the avenue I could see myself going. So I was more so, interested in leaning that way. And then Tails was coming up, and I was on the CAP team, which was also very exciting, but, we'll wait till next year. But besides that, honestly, for me, it was more so focused on the bar and developing myself more, as a bigger presence, and just keeping the hustle alive,
So what piece of advice would you give a young bartender living in Edmonton or Saskatchewan
Nothing against that.
who wants to eventually work at Dead Rabbit?
Yeah. Well, so we'll talk about it from like both ends, like the visa side, and then actually making it happen and doing it successfully. The one thing you need to do, and you really need to put the time and the effort in, is getting your name out there. It's really about networking and making the most of your connections, and attending everything. I literally, to the annoyance of Cody, my manager at Native Times, I traveled a lot, but it was because I was just getting the bar's name out there. I was getting my name out there, and it paid off, obviously. And it's when it comes to the visa that you need to move to the United States. This visa is called an extraordinary talent visa. So they basically have this visa that is for basically. I look at it as the category that they just put everything else into. They don't really know how to classify. So it's like, oh, you're a DJ, you're a chef, you're a mixologist. Then you come into this.
It's also a great ego stroke.
It's ridiculous.
Talent visa.
It's ridiculous, and then it always presents the most awkward conversations when you're going through the border because they're like, oh, you've got one of these O1 visas. What's your jam? And then you're like, hi, I work at a bar. It's always an interesting conversation every single time. But the logistics of it is that you do have to present yourself as someone who has a presence. You present a lot of like media that you've never been in. So like get your ass into those competitions, get your ass into those articles, get interviewed, whatever it is, get on a blog, get on a podcast, whatever you can do, get your ass in it. Because that will show that you are, that you would be of value to the place that you would try to move to in the United States. Actually coming to New York, and once that's all done, once you have the visa, you're allowed to enter the country, you're allowed to work legally, you got your social security number. After that, that's the easy part. The hard part is living in New York. I was talking to Josh Lindley about this. Like, this is a thing, and he asked me, what is your one piece of advice for someone, besides the visa stuff, someone moving to New York, is be prepared to get your ass kicked. It is humbling, and it is every day, and it still happens every day, to a little thing like, I don't know, you see something like a rat run by you, or something like you get lost in the subway for 2 hours and you're late for work and your whole day is ruined. And there's so many things that happen in New York. I saw my first mouse the other day. I was just sitting here and I just saw a mouse scurry, and I just said to myself, like, huh. And the reactions from friends were like, oh, now you're officially a New Yorker. I'm like, fuck. God damn it. Sorry. But, it's, there's so many like pillars that you hit of being a New Yorker, and it's worth it, I feel, but it's hard. And you're, no matter who you are, it's going to be difficult because everyone's on their, again, I use this word so much, but it's true. Everyone's on their hustle, everyone's on their grind, and you just kind of have to go with it and be strong. And I've become this person that I definitely never imagined myself becoming, and I love it. And I really do feel it's because from living in New York.
Do you think when it comes time to finding a job in a different country, because I know that both Dinah from Calgary and Emily from Montreal both just moved to London, obviously you use the network and you met people and you sort of start getting your fingers in pies, but does it make sense for a lot of young bartenders who do want to make this big move? And I think we can even keep it inside Canada and go to Vancouver if you're in the prairies and you want to go to Vancouver or Toronto or Montreal, to like reach out to as many people as possible. And even if it's a DM and an Instagram post, like to just try and get as much notoriety as possible with people and asking, like the ask basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel, I think one of my favorite things about the industry is how willing people are to help you along. I have no problem taking time and talking to someone about this because I'm very passionate about it and I really feel like it's attainable. But I also got to this point because I utilized every resource I had, and even like I just had to renew my visa. So as you know, like I had to go through all these visa letters and get recommendations. And even that, you have to stop and look back and think who you have interacted with and who will ultimately help you with this. And the response is always very positive. Everyone wants the great ones want the industry to move forward. So with that comes pushing the next generation forward.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome catching up with you.
Yeah, you are one of my favorite people.
You're so high energy.
Oh
I'm
my
so,
gosh.
I'm so proud of you. And I don't want that to sound condescending or anything. It's just that I was looking through an old cocktail culture the other day, and the picture of you at Black Hat back in the day, like your little hat, your little cap on, and your little vest, and
Oh my God. I am using it's actually right under my laptop because I'm like using it as like a prop. You mean this book?
that book.
The first publication I've ever in? Oh my God.
And you were crushing ice for a julep. And like to see where you've come from through Veneto, through Victoria, through Calgary, and then onto New York. It's just, I think there needs to be more bartenders who are willing to put themselves out there and take a risk and take a chance, because I think a lot get comfortable in their little fish bowls and being the big, like you said, being the big fish in the little pond. I would have moved to Singapore last year if I didn't have a family.
Yeah, Singapore's so tight.
I've told my wife if it wasn't for my wife and my daughter, I would be living in Singapore now. So, but I love Victoria. It's my home. So
Yeah.
But,
I feel like Victoria was great. I would have loved staying there as well if I didn't feel that way. I was completely happy there. I just knew in my heart it wasn't for me, and I also think that right now, if there's anything that's going to really motivate people to go out there and do this, it's this time. It's this time staying at home, reevaluating their lives, and just thinking there's so much more I could be doing. And whatever it is, it doesn't have to be moving to New York or London or Singapore. It could be just, I don't know, changing something at your own bar. Yeah, whatever it is, getting more involved, So.
Well, thank you for your time, sweetie.
Thank you. This
It
is
was
so
so
nice.
good speaking to you. And everybody's been messaging all the way through. Jerry Joe was there, Psy Guy was there. Everybody's been watching. So
tell them I'm still alive. I'm still here.
Good luck with the next couple of weeks. I'll chat to you soon.
Yeah, you too. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, Pose Shifters. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I really enjoy sitting down with friends and peers and just chatting about the industry and getting down to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, everything on all the platforms. Just hit it up and I'll do my best to answer any queries or questions you have. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.